Will those in favour please raise their hand?
The resolution welcomes the new ceasefire proposal, which states that Israel has already accepted it and calls upon Hamas in particular to do the same. The text further urges both parties to fully implement the terms without delay and without condition.
We need Hamas to agree to the ceasefire deal. And then we need Israel and Hamas to implement the deal without delays or conditions. I don't want to keep waking up to news reports of more fighting and more loss of life. I don't want the families of hostages, many of whom I know personally, to endure even one more day without their loved ones. I don't want another Palestinian family, including the relatives of people I have met with, to experience any more loss or suffering. I want to see an enduring ceasefire where Israel is safe from the threat of further terrorist attacks and rocket fire, and Palestinians can begin rebuilding their lives in safety and security.
The three-phase plan first calls for a 6-week ceasefire which would see Israeli forces withdraw from densely populated areas in Gaza and see the release of some hostages, while humanitarian aid would surge to 600 trucks per day. Phase 2, which would have to be agreed by both parties during Phase 1, would see the release of all remaining living hostages, while Israeli forces completely withdraw from Gaza, leading to a permanent ceasefire. Phase 3 calls for the reconstruction of Gaza after the war that has destroyed so much of the enclave.
Like any other product of the Security Council, this text is not perfect, but it offers a glimmer of hope to the Palestinians, as the alternative is continued killing and suffering of the Palestinian people. We voted for this text to give diplomacy a chance to reach an agreement that would end the aggression against the Palestinian people that has lasted for far too long. It's time to halt the killing.
Russia was the only country not to vote in favor of the draft, producing the only abstention.
We are convinced that the Security Council should not sign up to agreements with vague parameters and without guarantees not only of their implementation on the ground, but without the slightest clear understanding how the parties themselves, what their attitude is towards it. Essentially, the Council is giving a carte blanche and signing up to this plan with details that they don't have. The 3 parameters and phases, that's not details. From the very beginning of the escalation in Gaza, the Council has adopted 3 resolutions which have remained on paper in terms of implementation. Here, we can add a 4th. This is not something we could call a positive trend.
Hamas quickly welcomed the adoption of the draft resolution backing the ceasefire and indicated in a statement that it was ready to cooperate with mediators over implementing the principles therein. That augurs well for a pause in fighting that could lead to something more permanent in the weeks and months ahead. Sherwin Ricebees, SABC News, New York.